Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Motherhood Empowerment with Bianca Saeed. I am doing a review of the Matriarch Rising Festival today. So I just got back last Sunday. I just got back last Sunday from the Matriarch Rising Festival, which is a 4-day, not including arrival and departure day, all women's festival. It's a camp out on the organizer's land in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. And it was amazing. It was awesome. So just to give you, first I want to go over like the logistics of what it was, how it made me feel, what's offered, and my takeaways. So first of all, the logistics. So this was 4 days packed full of like workshops and yoga and singing and dancing and more workshops. And this all took place in like, I don't know how to measure things like this, but it was in an area that was probably like, I don't know, like a full acre. It was like everything took place. There was an area for tent camping. There was an area for eating, like a pavilion for eating. And we had food catered in from like a celebrity chef. It was awesome. And their team was awesome. The food was really good. It was almost like the same food for every day, but I didn't mind because it was so good. There was a little tweaks here and there, but it was really good. So we had breakfast and dinner catered, and then like we were told to like either bring food or there was like a little cafe that you could buy food from during your time there for lunch or snacks or whatever. So there was the tent camping, the pavilion for breakfast and dinner where everyone could sit in at any time, and some workshops were ran there too. Then you had like a playground for the kids. You had actually kids camp, which was for ages, I believe, 4 and up. And it was from hours 11 to 3. And so there was like a little tent for the kids there and activities they did. And then there was like a stage where they did workshops and stuff like that. And then there were vendors behind that across from a pond. So there were all these vendors selling all these kind of natural, really woman-centered items like natural hair care, natural skincare, cacao, merchandise, like festival merchandise. There were natural like linen clothing. There were crystals. There was like breast massage. There was natural toys. That's just like a taste of what there was. There was a ton of stuff. And then there was a place for car camping, which is what I did. I took my husband's big ass truck, and I took a tent, and it was just me and my 6-year-old daughter. I left my 2-year-old son at home, which was, I'll get into that in a little bit, but it was heartbreaking, but also liberating. As most important things are in life, right? So then we had also, there was this huge like solstice stage is what they called it. It was just like a really big stage that they did concerts on and had DJ, like silent disco and dancing and all that. And then there were a couple tents. There was a healing hut. I think it was Healing Hut, where it was like you could go like buy a private massage. There was like 6 tables lined up, and since it's all women, it's like, when I get around all women, like I'm very modest in the day-to-day because I have to be around men in public, but around women, it's like, who cares, right? So it was all very like comfortable, and you could feel safe being vulnerable, which was really cool. I got a massage by a lady named Diana, who I think came from Florida. Yeah, that's what she said. She was awesome. She's a massage therapist and intuitive healer, and she really helped me with my body. I got an hour-long massage from her, which was awesome. And then there were a couple other like tents that were set up. Okay, so that's like the logistics of it. We had arrival day, and then we were able to eat dinner. And then the next 4 days, like the 4 days of the actual festival, you were able to put your kid in kids camp, which is just like, I don't know, like a few, like, I don't know, like 50 yards. Like I told you, measurement's not my thing. 50 yards away from you in kids camp with all the other kids. The ones that didn't want to do it were like on the playground or with their moms or whatever. And so then you could like attend workshops and all kinds of stuff during the day. I will, there was a schedule of all the stuff, which I'll have to post separately, but it was like from 10 a.m. down to like 8 or 9 p.m. like stuff going on that you could attend. Sometimes there were options. Most of the time you could probably attend every single thing if you wanted to, if you didn't want to break. And so my impressions of this whole thing, right? So not even getting into like the specific workshops yet, but like my impression while I was there was it was so awesome because it was all enclosed within land, like a tree line, right? Her own property out in the middle of nowhere. And you felt so safe to like let your kids just play with the other kids while you did whatever you needed to do. Everything was like within view of one another. You could see across the way. It was all like in nature. It took place all within nature, which was lovely. And being around women and women that prioritize children is so healing. It's so nice to just be in good company. And like there was no judgment about like me just like letting my kid run free, my 6-year-old, very capable, very independent, very social, just running around with her friends. And I wasn't worried about it because I trust her, and the people I was around didn't judge me about it. Like it was just normal, right? Like the kids go do the kid things and the adults go do the adult things. And this is how society should actually be. This is what's actually normal. But this is not how we live in the modern day, in the hyper masculine, attuned world in which they force and brainwash females to believe they need to live like males to be productive and useful and valuable in society. And it's bullshit. So it was actually really anticlimactic coming home from this, because while there was a lot of inspiration about creating your own circles where you live and stuff, it's so difficult to actually implement that and have other people prioritize it, especially according to your location. I live in the DC suburbs, and hyper economic, hyper industry, hyper masculine, profit driven area I live in, where family is not a focus relative to other places in the country or the world. So while I felt inspired to like bring that back with me, realistically, it's going to take a lot to implement. Not saying it wouldn't be worth it, but it was so lovely to be in the company of like-minded women, wild, free women. And it kind of sucked to come home and not have them here. So that was something that Matriarch Rising really captured and really achieved, was just creating this little container, this little environment in which wild women, wild mothers could just be and be at home and be vulnerable. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. My daughter was over the moon about it, man. And it was really cool to see like a glimpse into what it would be like if kids had what they needed, what they actually needed, not schools and daycares and all these fucking toys and stuff and like helicopter parents. No, but just playtime outside with kids their age, in an age range close to theirs. It was really cool. And it actually unveiled to me like what I'm looking for logically, because I've always felt that this is what I was looking for. I've always known like intuitively, like what is going on is not normal. And I keep seeking other things out. So this let me know logically, like, oh, there's actually words for what I'm looking for. There's actually other people that live like this. There's other people that think like this. There is a way to make this happen. It's possible. And so that's what I left with. And I would definitely recommend you do it. And there are times you will get uncomfortable because, like it rained almost the whole time that we were there. So I was walking around barefoot. I got a bunch of cuts on my feet that I didn't realize until I got home, but not a big deal. You're going to get wet. It's humid. You're going to be asked to be vulnerable with other women. And let loose, like let your inhibitions go and like really express and experience yourself. There were a few, I would say like probably, I don't know, 7 to 10 women out of like 300, were walking around completely naked, and it wasn't a big deal, because when you take away the men, it becomes like, it's not sexual. It's not like it's just like, I don't know, it's like being in a big outside locker room where it's like nobody cares, like, right? Like, it's not my flavor, but like, I certainly did not care. And I did not care that my daughter saw a female body, which she has one herself, and her mother has one, who walks around half naked frequently in my own home. Like, it's not like it's something creepy. The female body is nothing creepy. Now, would I bring back those principles into public? No. Like, into regular modern society where we live with men? No, of course not. But that's the whole point, is that we were at an all women's festival. And the only ages that were allowed for males was 6 and under. So there were babies there were toddlers, there was like one kid that was male there. Other than that, it was all female. So it was a really cool environment that was created, and a lot of really important work is being done. So I want to tell you a little bit about the workshops. So there's a lot of like, there was a sovereign hair care workshop. There was a very important biological woman workshop by Dr. Melissa Sell. It was mind-blowing work. You need to go check her out, because it's just like, I can't even explain it, but she was basically describing the 5 laws of biology according to Germanic healing knowledge. And it sounds a little weird. It sounds pagan and all that, but it's not. It's like it's just like, it's basic tenets of like biology and like common sense, and just like ancient knowledge that has been like lost in the modern world. And there was a lot of like, there was like broom craft, like where they were making brooms and stuff. And a lot of this stuff, you know, there comes a time where there's a little bit of controversy, right? Me as a Muslim woman, as a monotheistic woman who has very, not even traditional, but like, yeah, I guess it's kind of traditional, like, beliefs when it comes to social life, right? Like monogamy, monotheism, male and female creative family, completely anti-abortion. There's a lot of like varying views there. Like, and I'm a big proponent of like not being dogmatic. Truth comes in many forms through many messengers, not just the scholars and imams and priests and stuff that you think it's going to come from, but truth exists regardless of who you are, where you are, what you know, how you live your lifestyle, whatever, right? There was, and this is part of being uncomfortable too. It's like some people did not believe in the same things as others, right? So there's like, you know, divination and like witchy stuff that some people believe in. And when I say witchy, I mean actual like witch, not like witchy as in we've been demonized for like being herbalists and enacting female wisdom and stuff. I don't mean that. I mean like there's people that actually are like not religious, not like monotheistic and stuff, and that's their business, right? Like I can coexist with these people without like subscribing to everything they believe. Similar to the fact that there were people there that believe in abortion being the right of a female. And I definitely don't agree. I think that abortion is completely unnatural, and that it's just point blank, like it's just like murdering a human, and that we are not supposed to play God. That's my position. And there were people there that disagreed with me, but there was Dr. Melissa Sell actually spoke up about this when she was talking about like, actually, when you think about abortion, it doesn't make sense for the biological will, like the biological drive to create life and sustain life and keep life going. Abortion actually goes against that. So it doesn't really make sense for a lot of our worldviews. And I was so inspired that she brought that up at a radical feminist, in a radical feminist circle, because as a radical feminist, which just means like actual feminism, like treating women as women and supporting women as women, not forcing us to become men in society. Like, it's kind of taboo to talk about being anti-abortion or abortion being unnatural and not good for a woman. So I was so grateful that she had brought that up and was talking about that. And I think it's so crucial that sometimes we get emotional about things because we feel like really strongly about them, but to continue conversations with women about these things, it's very important. And it's very important to exist with other people that don't think exactly like you. And that's part of being uncomfortable. That's part of being in an all-woman space where it was safe to say such things and to talk about such things. I can't express the importance enough. There's also people there that believe in like same-sex like relationships and stuff. And I don't think that's what, how do I say this? I don't think that that's natural either. I don't think that that's good for people, but that's not to say that like I was over there treating them like shit and like I couldn't stand being around them and like all this. No, like they were just people, like they're just women, and it's okay if I have a viewpoint that's not exactly aligned with theirs. We can still coexist together and we can still have philosophical conversations about these topics. And I thought that was really one of the really important parts of being there. It's exactly what I'm passionate about is like, no, you can find truth in many messengers. And also it's important to talk about things that are controversial in society. In fact, it's what gives life. There is no perspective to be found and there is no lifeblood in ignoring important things just because everybody else is going with the crowd. No, I'll never do that. I will always be against the grain, trying to bring perspective to things that other people are ignoring the perspective on, because that's what living, a holistic life is all about. It's like you consider every angle, you consider all the different perspectives, you consider everything, but also you remain neutral and you stand firm in your truth, but you don't let it like emotionally like affect you. You can be true to your principles without getting all emotional or taking things personally, right? So that was a big takeaway from there. And I'm going to share their page information so that you can find out about going next year. I plan on taking my daughter every year. I think it's an awesome tradition that we're going to establish. And beyond, I already went through the logistics, I went through the workshops, I went through what I took away from it. And moving forward, like I took away some friendships with some women. I exchanged numbers with them. My daughter made friendships. It was beautiful. And I plan on continuing to co-create a life, in which I am emulating the sisterhood there, the natural lifestyle, the natural flow of things that existed in that container at Matriarch Rising. It's really important. And the fact that it's so uncommon makes it even more critical to keep introducing and like hold firm to your values and stuff. I talk a lot about ping-ponging from homeschooling to finding a school program for my daughter, because the actual solution is in the middle. The actual solution is community resources that mean that I'm not parenting 24/7, but not a brainwashing indoctrination camp, which is like modern schooling. So I will constantly be on the quest for this. I will constantly be trying to recreate this and find women that want to do the same. And if you're one of those women, leave me a comment below, subscribe to the channel, like these videos so we can find the other women and we can gather and we can create this very natural, flowing, natural immunity. Women are powerful as women, sisterhood, community, prioritizing family, reclaiming like, school, right? Like life is school. We need to gather. We need to come together. We need to stick together. We need to keep in contact with one another so that we can find each other and we can actually create these communities. And with that, that is my full review of the Matriarch Rising Festival. I hope you are informed and you are pumped about going next year, because I am. I'm excited about going next year, even though I just got back. So Thank you to Emily and the organizers of Matriarch Rising. I love you, and I'll see you next year.